let's hit it. And welcome to Alzheimer Speaks Radio. I'm your host, Lori LeBay, and I'm so excited that you're joining us today. We are going to have a fascinating conversation as usual as we learn from people all around the world at all ages and stages of life. Stay tuned as we shift our dementia care from crisis to comfort. All right, here we go. What you think about, you will bring about. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to Alzheimer Speaks Radio. I'm your host, Lori LeBay, and if you enjoyed our opening music, it's called Clarion Call by the Mark Arneson Band, featuring Maya Dore, and you can download that on any of your favorite music platforms. Again, it's called Clarion Call. For those of you that are new to our show, Alzheimer Speaks has been around since 2011, and we believe we're the first radio station dedicated strictly to dementia and caregiving, which is kind of exciting. And the reason we started was my own mom lived with dementia for 30 years, and I thought there had to be a way to connect people to great services, products, and tools all around the world. And I know I wasn't finding them back in the day when I was dealing with her journey, and wanted to make that a little bit easier. So here on Alzheimer Speaks, we want to raise everyone's voice and do that in an equal fashion. So that is people living with the diagnosis, family and friends, professionals who care and serve them, advocates and researchers, and more. Now, today is an open mic where we invite everyone and anyone who has something dementia to talk about and share with us. That might be a project that you are working on. Maybe it's a service or a tool or a book. Maybe it's a community, a research project. Maybe you see a need that hasn't been addressed and you have some ideas. Maybe you just have a question regarding dementia and want to pose it. So feel free to call in. That number is 323-870-4602. That's 323-870-4602. And as usual, I want to thank our listeners because without you, we would be nothing. And your likes, your clicks, and your shares, we really appreciate pushing us out on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, and Lord only knows where else. There's so many social media avenues these days, but we really do appreciate it. And we feel strongly that, if people know there are resources, they'll grab them. And so sometimes we have people in our own sphere that are dealing with dementia, maybe personally, maybe it's a friend or a neighbor or a coworker, but they don't know where to go. And we want to be that safe place where they feel comfortable, where we can build that sense of community and collaboration and comfort to really win this battle and not make anyone feel bad about having a disease or dealing with a disease. Now, November, some of you may or may not know, is Alzheimer's Awareness Month. It's also National Caregivers Month. So again, it's a wonderful time to be able to call in at 323-870-4602 and talk with us about that. I always like to mention some of our past shows and what's coming up. So we just had a fascinating conversation with Larry Nisenson from Genworth, and he talked about Care Scout, and we talked about caring and careers in COVID, and the hour just blew by. So that was, again, just Tuesday when we talked about that. The following, or the previous week, we had Roz Jones on, and we talked about caregiving too, and what's kind of a time frame for some of those important things that you need to get in line right away so that you're protected. And then we also had IBM on, one of their lead researchers, talking about speech patterns and artificial intelligence in Alzheimer's, which was cool. And I'll mention one other past one. There's a film called Determined, which is just going to hit the film festivals, and we had the director and the producer out, which was really fun. They followed three families around for several years, and it's pretty fascinating film. So watch for that. Maybe that can come to your community. And then next week we're going to be talking with Dementia Friendly Winona, Minnesota, which I'm excited for. And we are also going to talk with Aaron Blight, who has Caregiving Kinetics, which is quite an interesting concept as well. And he just published a book. I always like to give a shout out to, and I want to do that to a few organizations here. One is Artist Senior Living of Maplewood, Minnesota. They now have a memory cafe, and anyone is able to attend that. It's the third Wednesday of the month from 1 to 2 p.m. Central Time, and you can call them to register at 612-200-0506. That's 612-200-0506. I also have another memory cafe, which is also virtual, and we do that. That's with Arthur's Senior Living. And we have our Arthur's Memory Cafe on the second and the fourth Wednesday of each month. And we go from about 1 to usually around 2:30 in the afternoon. And you can just reach out to me to get more information regarding those two virtual cafes, or go to memorycafedirectory.com, and you can find out a ton more information regarding all of them in the U.S. And Dave actually has those coordinated for 5 different countries. Now I see we have a couple of callers on the line, so I am going to stop with my shout outs right now, and we're going to pivot and hear what's going on. So I think this is Paul Ann, who is calling in from a 9676 number. Paul Ann, is that you?
Yes, it is.
Wonderful. Do you want to tell people just a little bit about yourself? And then I'll also pull in Jackie, because I know you guys wanted to talk together. So, but why don't you just introduce yourself and tell people a little bit about yourself? Would be great.
Okay. My name is Paul Ann Gordon, and I have been living with vascular dementia for 9 years ago. I was diagnosed. And I am very active as an advocate. I am involved with an organization that I'm very proud to be a member of, and that's Dementia Action Alliance, which is an national advocacy organization that is doing wonderful work. So we're here to share a little bit of that today with you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Paul Ann, for those of you that don't know, is also part of Dementia Chats, which is a panel I facilitate of the true experts, those living with dementia, and her insights are just wonderful, and I know you'll hear more about those in just a minute. But let me go ahead and pull Jackie in. Jackie, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Jackie Pinkowitz, past caregiver for my mom and my father-in-law who had Alzheimer's, and co-founder of Dementia Action Alliance and current board chair. I'm so glad that we have the opportunity to share with your audience, Lori, that we decided, because COVID was causing so much social isolation, that we created 2 online virtual programs via Zoom, and one program is for individuals living with dementia at home, and the other one is for those who are residents in assisted living. And each of them, if you go on daanow.org, you can see on the main first page to the far right, it says online programs. If they click on that, they will find 2 different calendars for people at home and those in assisted living. And what we decided to do is we decided to go from mid-October to mid-December with some really interesting things that people can get involved with. Dance and sports club, or cooking, or poetry, sing-along, storytelling. So we really we really believe that it's so important for people to be able to remain connected and continue their friendships, even if it has to be virtually on Zoom. So I appreciate you letting us share that, Lori.
Oh no, it's absolutely needed. People are dying for connections out there, and I was talking with Dave with the Memory Cafe the other day, and I think there's only about 70 that have actually gone virtual. When you think of all the memory cafes that are out there, there's almost 1,000 of them that he's tracking. And in as much as is going on with Zoom and different, platforms with Google and things like that, more is needed. And I think back, and Pauline, you can probably comment on this, but I remember when everyone used to poo-poo the Zoom gatherings because people living with dementia have been doing this for a long, long time.
That's right.
And so why don't you talk a little bit about that and the importance of those connections and that they are real relationships and connections?
They absolutely are. And one of the things that it's interesting that you said a lot of people didn't, use Zoom. Actually, Dementia Action Alliance began using Zoom from the moment we came together because everyone was all over the country, Lori. So it was our way of connecting and having, discussion groups and all of our meetings online, which meant that it wasn't quite as difficult for people to kind of transition into the online programs because we were all so used to it. Not newbies, but rather very used to doing it that way.
Yep. And Pauline, I'd love you to jump in from a person with dementia perspective and what it's meant.
Yeah, I think it's an incredible idea. There are actually two tracks to this program. There is one track that is developed for individuals living at home, and there is a whole other group of activities and sessions that are designed for people living in assisted living communities. So, and the topics are different, for the different audiences. So I think it's very interesting, and we have them I think they're twice a day, and right now they're running Monday through Saturday and they're not having one on, is it Wednesday?
Right. No Wednesday. That's right.
No Wednesday. But the other track, too, is for assisted living homes. And I think that is really a very critical issue right now because there are so many people who are so isolated because of the restrictions in the assisted living homes right now in terms of visitation. And activities have been extremely limited compared to what they used to be in these assisted living homes. And so we're trying to kind of help bridge that gap to the extent that we can.
Which is really critical, especially when we've got another COVID surge, and it's not just hotspots. I mean, the whole U.S. is a hotspot right now. So being able to help out in those situations is really important. I have a question for you. For, the ones at home, is it just for the person with dementia, or can their care partner be part of that? And
their care partner can absolutely be part of it. Yeah.
Okay. And for the ones in communities, can the family participate in those as well? And
we haven't seen any family members, Lori, because a lot of the families haven't been allowed to visit in the assisted living, But they do. We do have the a staff member, or more than one if they want, to come with them. Yeah.
Okay.
To come on with them.
Okay. The reason I ask, and this is just a kind of food for thought. I don't know if you're familiar with Cindy Lewinsky down in Colorado with Dementia Together, but they do their memory cafes, and they do them in some communities. But the families being in and are part of it. And she showed me a clip of one where the husband and the daughter and the grandchildren all participated, and they were just beaming because they saw their loved one was happy and engaged. And
Oh,
so that might be something to consider asking communities to say, and again, I don't want to change your programming on you, but just food for thought, that this might be a great possibility to engage families as well in part of this, because being
yeah.
able to see those pictures and interactions, or being able to say hi or whatever in those moments, I mean, they're just precious, and people are missing those. And so any way we can connect people, to me is always a good fashion, but just something, just kind of food for thought, because I did see that. And when I see cool things, I always like to pass them on to our listeners and our callers and our guests. I
I
think
think
that's
it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful idea, Lori. Yep, I'm absolutely gonna get on it.
good.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things that can't hurt, and at least
That's
then it
right.
allows the community too to give another option to families. So when families are feeling disconnected, they can say, well, there's also this. We're trying to get creative, and
Right. Right.
still meet the needs. Cindy had the governor had come to visit to kind of see what they were all about, and she said it just so happened that they had just had that meeting, and she showed those clips to the governor of Colorado, and he was just amazed because he could see,
Wow.
the husband
Mhm.
was just about in tears. He was so happy because they were doing some music, and the wife was clapping and she was smiling, and you could see the daughter and the granddaughters, just looking really close at grandma, and it was just really cool. As a person who doesn't know any of them, and of course I cry easy, but I got very teary eyed just watching it. It was just very powerful, very
That is
powerful.
powerful.
Yeah.
Pauline,
Now,
did you want to mention one new resource that Lori might be interested in her audience?
Raising the bar?
Yes. Mhm.
Yes, I would very much like to talk about Raising the Bar. Raising the Bar is a practice guide that we developed for assisted living communities in conjunction with, it was DAA as a collaborative project with DAA and the Eden Alternative. And there were so many. One of the things that is so unique about this project is the fact that so many people with dementia were involved in the development of the manual. It was a very, very scientific model that was used, and there were many, many people from around the country that were involved, people with dementia, people without dementia, that were involved in the development of this manual. So I think that's one of the things that makes it really unique. And this manual was also, I'm a co-editor with Lori Scher, and this is one of the first manuals we've published that has been edited by people living with dementia. And I think that that's really critical to know that the perspective of people living with dementia was heavily influencing this publication. It is definitely a person-centered document. That's what it really is. It's person and relationship-centered dementia support that we're offering.
oh, that's fantastic.
It is fantastic. I think that people are really going to like it. It is very explicit, and it is very active. It is all written in a very active format. And positive. And the unique thing about it is it really focuses on the needs of the residents in the assisted living home. It is geared from their perspective, not from the perspective of the administration.
Mm-hmm.
It is what their needs are.
Well, I love that. Me, I love raising the voice of those living with the disease, because I think you guys have a much better handle on what the heck's going on and what the needs are than the rest of us are peering in the window and thinking we got it all figured out. So I love that there's that combination, and that you picked the Eden Alternative, because they just do such a fantastic job to begin with. I mean, they really get that whole relationship-based care, and one size doesn't fit all, and things need to be customized and personalized within. So that is really neat. Jackie, can you talk about how that relationship even came about to develop that?
Oh, well, that's interesting because DAA and Eden Alternative have had a collaborative relationship for a really long time. And for a long time, we were talking about, wouldn't it be wonderful to create a series, not just for assisted living, but for other settings as well? And we decided we would start with assisted living. The thing that makes it so, I think, valuable is that, as Paul Ann said, it was really focused on relationships and what matters, what's important, what's relevant to the residents in the assisted living communities. So I think we actually would like to continue the series, but this is the first one out, and we're very excited about it.
Now, one question people might ask is, why did you start with assisted living and not memory care? Was there a logic behind that? I'm sure there was, or a reasoning.
Yeah, we wanted to have kind of get the kinks out of the model before going into, the total memory care. And this was an opportunity for us to really examine assisted living from multiple perspectives. Residents who, are living with, cognitive challenges, but also those who are living there who, at the same time, deserve to have, person-centered, relationship-based, what matters to me, kind of services. So that's how it began. Yeah.
Sure. Anything you want to add on that, Paul Ann?
No, I think Jackie covered that pretty well. I do want to let people know that this guide is currently on sale up until, November 20th. If you order it by November 20th, there is a $50 savings on the price, and it is available. You can go online to get this through Eden Alternative, actually. Do we have it on our website, a link to, Jackie, or is it just on Eden Alternative?
Not yet. Right, Eden Alternative, yeah.
Okay, that's where they would need to go to purchase the book. It's available both in a print version and in a downloadable online version.
Okay, and what is the title of it again?
It's called Raising the Bar, Creating a Better Society in Which to Live with Dementia.
Okay, wonderful. I just want to make a comment about starting in assisted living because I think people will go, well, why didn't you start in memory care? But I love that you started in assisted living, and the reason I love that you started with assisted living is assisted living has a lot of people with dementia that may or may not be diagnosed living there. Who are still independent, maybe living, with a loved one, or maybe living just independently themselves, getting some services, but still social and out there. And I think it's a wonderful way to get the conversation going, because I think that's a conversation that needs to be talked about more in assisted living, that people shouldn't be fearful if they are having some issues with that. They should get diagnosed, they should get addressed, and they shouldn't be embarrassed if they end up with a diagnosis. We have to be more compassionate. We have to educate people better, because I don't think people even understand how standoffish they can be. And many people in assisted living and in senior care will tell you, because I've heard this for years, even, I've been in this space about 10, but I was in real estate in the senior communities for 25 before that, and that was my specialty. And even back then, so that was like 35 years ago, until now, I'm still hearing the same thing, that some of the people living in those buildings are the most discriminatory against their own, because they get fearful of seeing it, and they get worried that it could happen to them, and yet no one's having these conversations. So I think, training staff and having conversations amongst the communities themselves, I think, is really helpful to help reduce those fears. And it also allows people to find out that, oh gosh, Joe's got dementia. I didn't know. That's right. You
Right.
might not know. I mean, look at Pauline. If you ran into Pauline on the street, you wouldn't know she has dementia. And listening to her on the radio, you wouldn't know that she's been living with vascular dementia for 9 years. And there are a lot of people out there in that same category, and yet, we make comments and we act differently, and we all have to be a little bit more conscious of what we say
Lori,
and what we do.
Before the COVID, DAA was going around to a lot of different assisted living communities around the country, and we brought our great experts like Paul Ann and those living with dementia, and we had caring community conversations that was in person, and so all the residents could hear from two of the people living with dementia, but more importantly, they could also interact with them after we talked about different things, and it was really a positive, an incredibly positive experience for a lot of the residents, because one resident came over to us and said, my husband listened to everything you all said, and this is the first time in years that he has said, I think I might have some symptoms. And she was in tears. She was just so relieved. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it was okay. It was okay to talk about it and to think about living in fear like that. And we all know what fear can do to our health. And Pauline, you can probably add to this, but I would. What I hear from everybody is fear a lot of times triggers more symptoms. Is that?
Yes, definitely.
Do you think that? Yeah. And
yes.
So we got to remove that. We got to get on top of that. I love that you guys were going around having those conversations, because they are so extremely important, and they are so impactful. To hear somebody be able to come up and and really come out and not be afraid. It's amazing what can happen when we have those conversations. So again, I think it's wonderful, the work that Dementia Action Alliance is doing. And again, you can go to daanow.org. That's daanow.org to find out more information. And they do a lot of stuff. I mean, they've got a podcast. They do. Why don't you guys talk a little bit about what else you guys do? Because you guys do a lot. And so even though the online programs that you're talking about are really important and they're new, and the Raising the Bar is new, there's a lot of other things that people can get involved with. And one of them might be, hey, you got a little cash on the side and you want to donate. They're a nonprofit and you can help in that way too. But Pauline, why don't you talk about some of the other things that DAA is involved with?
Well, one of the things that we're involved with, one of the programs we have is a program called Dementia Discussions, and it's really a wonderful program. We gather people with living with dementia and their care partners on Zoom, and we have meetings once a week on various topics of interest to people living with dementia. And it's a wonderful time for people to gather and support each other and become educated about. We've had conversations about the rights of people living with dementia. We've had speakers come on that have talked about, adult protective services, preparing final documents, all kinds of topics that are of importance to people living with dementia.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the programs that we have that is really wonderful.
Well, and
we
I
also
love
put
that
together. Lori, I wanted to tell you that we did drop in with Dr. Susan during this COVID time. She's absolutely wonderful on our board of directors, and she's kind and caring. And we do it, on Tuesdays so that people can go and just talk with her and be open-hearted, and it's really terrific. And on Fridays, we have Faith, Hope, and Love chats. So we have a lot going on during the week, that's for sure.
Well, and that's fantastic. I mean, that's what's needed. And that we, as much as you guys have going on, there's a lot of other organizations doing things too, but it's still not enough. It's still not enough. There's a lot of people dealing with this, and there's a lot of people that still don't know about all these great services. So, if you're listening, share this episode, and share the link to daanow.org so that people can find these services. They're critical. And again, they're talking about how they've adapted to be virtual. So you don't have to be in any state or city to be able to be part of these groups. And that is huge. And you can participate, if you have a smartphone, an iPad, a computer, that has video and audio. It's pretty slick, and it's pretty simple. I know when we first started using Zoom way back before it was popular, one of the things that my Dementia Chats panelists would say is, hey, if we can figure this out, the rest of the world can too. If we keep living with dementia, so stop being scared and step in and step up, and somebody will help you figure out the technology. These are compassionate people that understand that this stuff can feel scary at first, but I mean, I've seen repeatedly over in my groups, and I'm sure you have as well, where people are like, they're so excited and they're so proud when they connect, when they haven't done it before. I mean, they just feel on top of the world, and the next thing out of their mouth is they're going to share it with family or their book club or their prayer group, something that hasn't connected virtually, and they're going to bring that out because they're like, this is simple, and we shouldn't be so scared. We should all be stepping up and stepping in. So I really want to thank you for your...
One other thing I just wanted to mention real quick about the program that Jackie was talking about, the program for Jackie, help me.
Drop Susan? No. Susan? No. Faith, Hope, and Love.
No.
No, not
the main
that
program. Not Raising the Bar. The
you
other
mean
program.
the virtual engagement program?
The virtual engagement, yes. I wanted to mention, you have to forgive me. I do have dementia. But for the virtual engagement program, I do want to mention that is a pilot program running through December, and it is free. There's no charge.
Yep. No charge, right.
Wonderful. And that's a big thing with people's budgets these days, that's for sure. So that makes a big difference. And and using Zoom, it's it's an app you can download again, and there's no charge for you to be able to utilize that either. So they're really trying to take the barriers away and keep the accessibility alive there.
Right.
So wonderful. Well, anything else that we've missed that we should talk about that DAA is doing?
Well, Lori, thank you so very much. We really value your friendship and love to do more collaboration with you. It's been a hectic few months, but I'm so proud being part of this organization because we are open-hearted and open-minded, and I think you need to be both,
Yep. No, I agree. Anything else that you want to add, Pauline?
No, I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be here today, and I hope that some people are able to take advantage of, some of the services we offer.
I have one question that some listeners might be wondering about, because I know you have, people with dementia on your board and are very active. I know with Lori and Pauline and some others, they've worked on everything from websites to projects and things like that. Are you looking for some more people with dementia to join and help be part of, I guess, the voice and the movement of DAA, not just a participant in terms of what you have to offer. Not that that's not a great thing, but are you looking for other voices as well, and people to give their time and talent?
That would be marvelous. I really feel like DAA is a place where they could come and try it, and see if there's something there that's a fit for them. We would love it. And however, if you wanted to, have them contact me, they could do that. Whatever way would work.
Okay. So again, and they can get to you by going through DAA. You must have a big contact button there, I would imagine, or if you want to give people your email address, feel free.
Yeah. Okay. It's all lowercase. J Pinkowitz. JPINKOWITZ @gmail.com. And I answer everybody.
Yes, she does. She's very good. Talk about an organizer. I don't know what they do without you over there, because you keep the glue and the cement between the bricks there, holding things together. I swear, when it comes to organization. So, well, thank you both for your time today. I really appreciate it very, very much. And again, if we've got listeners out there that want to call in and share what they're doing. Maybe it's not on the level of what DAA is doing. That's okay. Tell us what's working in your home, with your loved one or the person you're caring for, or maybe what's not working and what's making you frustrated, and ask for some options. We're open to it all. But again, Paul-Ann and Jackie, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to call in and share your wonderful work with DAA. And again, go to daanow.org, and you can click on that online programs and find more for those programs in home as well as in a community that are all free right now. And you can go to the Eden Alternative to get that workbook on raising the bar, which is now on sale as well until, I think you said, November 20th. So why not take advantage of that? So again, thank you.
Thank you so much, Lori.
You're more than welcome.
Appreciate
more
it.
than welcome. Ladies, take care.
Thank you.
So I want to give a shout out to a couple other companies. One is Coral Health. And Coral Health is still allowing people to download their music apps for free during COVID. So you can go to Coral Health, that's CORO Health.com, CORO Health.com. And you can download Music First or Choral Faith, which is absolutely very exciting to be able to do that. So I appreciate organizations really stepping up during this time of COVID and helping people stay connected. I also wanted to give a shout out to Healing Moments for Alzheimer's. They are doing a program November 12th, and you need to register as soon as possible. And it's going to be from 7 to 8:15 p.m., and the cost is $15. But they're doing a presentation that is designed to open minds and hearts in new ways to provoke thought by challenging our cultural conditioning about difficult topics that touch many of us, and that offer hope and consolation to those who are accompanying a loved one on a journey of dementia or diminishing cognitive capabilities, such as Alzheimer's disease, Lewy body, vascular dementia, frontal temporal lobe, etc. And you can register. I'm going to give you the phone number is 680-748-4411. That's 680-748-4411. And that is extension 811. And you want to talk with the event organizer, Janice DeMuth. And again, that's the event organizer, Janet DeMuth there. I also ran across something that looked kind of fun, and it's over in the UK. And the Vamos Theatre in UK has an arts in projects movement, and they have something called the Wednesday Wave. And it started actually October 14th at 3 o'clock, and it continues till December 16th. So you can go to the Vamos Theater, that's VAMOS, and then theater, theatre.co.uk. And yes, they spell theater different than we do sometimes. So just like they have S's for our Z's. So you can go ahead and check that out. I also wanted to just give a shout out. I don't know if any of you have noticed, but we are in the process of launching. We're having a big launch date November 10th, and I can't tell you what it is. And we've just been leaving some teasers. So I thought it might be fun just to kind of rehash some of our teasers. And if any of you think you might know what it is, feel free to call in if you want. I won't tell you if you're right or not, but you can call in at 323-870-4602. Our first teaser was a month out, and I can't believe how much time has flown because next week is our launch day. And our first teaser said this: something's brewing in the dementia community that we have never seen before. It's not coffee, but it has the power of caffeine and will give you hope at the same time. You watch for our November 10th announcement. The second one, our second teaser said, does the thought of dementia disturb your sleep and sidetrack your mind during the day? We believe it helps to get through tough times when you feel supported. Watch for our exciting announcement, November 10th. Again, that's just 3 weeks away. And then just the other day, on the 3rd, we put a little teaser out that said, what information is necessary for those living with dementia, their families, and those providing service to them? Get that information starting November 10th. And then we're going to launch this on Tuesday, the 10th. And so you'll see about 3 more teasers before we make the announcement. But we are extremely excited about this, and it's been a long, long time coming. So again, if you would like to call in, that number is 323-870-4602. I am going to just take a little break here, and we are going to listen to the foot bar walker. This is, if you have anybody out there using a walker and you struggle helping them get up and sit back down, and you feel maybe you're hurting them by lifting them under their arms, or maybe you're throwing your own back out, this is a product I think you'll definitely want to take a peek at. Again, it's called the Foot Bar Walker.
Introducing the life-changing Foot Bar Walker.
I'm Peggy from Danville, Kentucky, and I'm 91 years old. The Foot Bar Walker revolutionized my care of George. The saving that I made from having to put him in a nursing home came to about $192,000. The Foot Bar Walker opens and closes just like a standard walker. The only thing that is different is the top bar and the foot bar. Does that ever make a difference?
Does someone you love use a walker? Do they struggle to get up from a seated position? Are you a caregiver dealing with physical pain and stress as you help your patient? The Foot Bar Walker was designed to assist not only the patient, but also the caregiver. Patients have more control standing up, and no lifting from the caregiver is required. See how it works at thefootbarwalker.com. That's thefootbarwalker.com. Peggy, would you recommend the Foot Bar Walker?
Do I ever? I would not be in the health that I'm in today at this age had it not been for the Foot Bar Walker.
Well, again, that product is just absolutely amazing, and I would highly recommend you check it out. You can just go to thefootbarwalker.com. Matt. I'm going to hang on here a little bit longer. I know I had a couple other people that said that they wanted to call in. I know things change. So I don't want anyone feeling guilty if they can't make it. A couple of things I just want to mention to our audience. Even though I'm the host of Blog Talk Radio, I do a lot of speaking and virtual presentations. If anyone is looking for support for either staff and or families or communities at large, maybe there's some communities out there that want to pull together a dementia-friendly community. I along with the Lutheran Home Association, launched the first dementia-friendly community in the United States, and which is very much fun to see. And there's lots of different ways to be able to do that. You can do that through a grassroots group, like our friend Cindy with Dementia Together, or my Roseville group up here. Has a wonderful, wonderful group where the city of Roseville actually allows us space on their official city page for our group, which has been absolutely fabulous. And then, of course, there's Dementia Friendly America that typically goes through AAA in every state. And we're seeing more and more of that grow all of the time, which is, again, a wonderful, wonderful thing to see. I just had a friend send me today an article that was from New York, and the governor, Christy Nomi, it looks like, made an announcement. She said, so many families struggling as a result of a loved one who's fighting Alzheimer's. And she says, we're gaining ground in the fight against this terrible disease, but there's more work due. And so she said, so today we're lighting the world teal. So in New York, they are going to light everything up teal. Teal is what the Alzheimer's Foundation of America uses versus the purple, which we see through the Alzheimer's the Alzheimer's organization throughout the country. They stand apart a little bit different, but there's many different organizations out there that are supportive, and they've got these beautiful pictures. If you go to lighttheworldteal.com, it's incredible, the pictures that they have lit up in teal. It's really quite beautiful. You can catch it on Facebook, I'm sure, too, out there as well, or go to Alzheimer's Foundation, and you can get more information off of their site too. So lots of cool things going on. Wanted to give a plug as well to Dementia Quick Tips. These are just tips that I put together. They're on my YouTube channel for, I guess it's just little things I wish somebody would have told me when I stepped into this space. And so that information is, easy to go ahead and grab if you go to Alzheimer's Speaks YouTube channel for that. We also, there you can see a whole list of our dementia chats, or you can find that even easier probably going to alzheimersspeaks.com. Go to our project and initiatives page, and if you go to the dementia chat specifically, you can actually download a whole bunch of links that will show you all of the videos, but a lot of the videos are listed on our alzheimersspeaks.com/dementia chats page as well. We have all different topics, from finding meaning and purpose in life to critical insights when developing a dementia-friendly community, to dementia-friendly airports and travels, finding balance. There is stuff on dementia and suicide and right to die, dementia in COVID, coping with your new normal. That is, is something that is a real struggle for people when they're first diagnosed, and rightfully so. So you'll find lots of good information there. And again, if you'd like to call in, the number is 323-870-4602. That's 323-870-4602. We would absolutely love to hear from you. I would like to give a shout out to some of the groups on Facebook. A lot of people don't know how many resources are on Facebook, and there are a great number of them that you can, belong to, and you don't have to. You don't have to publicly share information. A lot of times people will join these groups and they're just kind of voyeurs at first. So you have the Forget Me Not group, you have memory people, you have dementia family friends and caregivers. There's a group. I'm just going to read through a few of them because I think people don't understand how many groups are out there. And like anything, you have to find the one that clicks with you. Vascular dementia, living with dementia, joining the dots for dementia, my dementia friends, caregivers in the elder care community, living life with Lisa. She's a hoot. Lisa is living with dementia. She does almost daily videos of herself and just is very honest and vulnerable and open about what life is like. There's the Dementia Life Coach. What else? Reimagining Dementia is another group. Again, the list just kind of goes on and on. There's Lewy body groups. There's FTD groups. You have, in Arizona, they have a Care Alliance group. There's mild cognitive impairment groups. And like with Forget Me Nots, they have a lot of subgroups too for the different types of dementia, which are very important as well. And some of these groups have both the people diagnosed as well as care partners, and some have professionals. Some are specific for just certain groups, and you'll find all of those out if you go take a peek and look. Which again, that's what it's all about. Just checking things out and seeing what's going to meet your particular needs, because we're all different, and one thing isn't going to meet all of our needs, and that's okay. It's just like anything else in life. I wanted to give out a shout to Trish Lab too. She has a new radio show she's launching called A Cup of Comfort. And, if you Google that, you will find information about her. She also has some great, a series of books on caregiving that is just absolutely wonderful, too. So you can look at A Comfort in Their Journey as kind of her overall practice there. And I think you will learn quite a bit from that. There is also, the group called All's Authors. If you're not familiar with them, something to check out. You can find them, by Googling or going to Facebook, either way. But they have hundreds of authors now that have written books, and they've broken them down into categories. They also are launching a radio show that they're going to be introducing and interviewing various authors. Then there is Vibe Tech, which is really a cool product that uses vibration to help build muscle. They just went public, and they're raising funds to get more units out and get that tested. But there's fascinating technology that's going on out there. And then our friends at the Alzheimer's Research and Prevention Foundation, they have an online brain longevity therapy training that they're doing that's pretty fascinating, and that might be something else too that you would like to check out. Well, I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and sign off at this time. I really appreciate everybody's time. And again, when we have open mic, we want to hear from everybody, and because that's how we learn. That's how we get hope, and that's what I'm here to do, is to raise everyone's voice. So don't be shy. I know sometimes that happens, but feel free to call in or just even contact me with questions that you would like answered. If you're not comfortable being live on the show, I'm more than willing to do that too. Until next week, everybody, maybe we'll have a president by then. I'm hoping. We'll talk soon. Take care. Bye now.
Hey everybody, Jared Sebestier, host of Retire Repurposed. This podcast is dedicated to help people transition into fulfilling and purposeful retirements. Retirement is a big life change. In fact, the two most dangerous years of a person's life are the year they were born and the year they retire. Few people can just flip the switch from working a career 30 or 40 plus years, retiring on Friday, without methodical steps to living what we call a repurposed retirement. To listen now, search Retire Repurposed on your favorite podcast platform, Senior Resource, or Life Audio.